Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today it is Binacle Spotlight Hour on Pokemon Go. So we're just walking around catching a few Binacles. Started about 2 minutes ago, so apologies, I'm a little bit late from the start time, but we are live and hopefully we can get the shiny Binacle. It's really nice shiny. So if you haven't already seen it, the shiny Binacle goes like a dark green on its fingers, so it is a really nice shiny. I've got one already, I'll show you one in a sec. Hopefully I can show you one actually being caught during the live stream if we're lucky enough. I have put incense on. I don't normally put incense on, but I have got around about 189 incenses that I need to get rid of, so I have gone ahead and put an incense on for this spotlight hour. So the additional bonus of this spotlight hour is also 2 times transfer candy. So it's not too bad of a bonus actually, especially after the Go Fest weekend. If you've been raiding all those Ultra Beast raids at the weekend and you've got loads of rubbish ones, and you can actually transfer them and get double candies. So double candies for all those Necrozma, double candies for all those Buzzwole, Pheromosa, Cortana, Celesteela, whatever you might have been raiding over the weekend. It's a really good time to sort out your storage if you don't particularly need the Binacle shiny, or you can split it half and half if you wanted to. So you can sort out your storage or sort it out beforehand. Take a couple of minutes once the hour starts to bin all the stuff you might have tagged, and then after that you can go around and hunting Binacle. So we're going to try and do a route that just a little bit quieter. I know sometimes when we get near the busy roads it does struggle to hear me on the video, so we'll try to go a little bit of a quieter route, but hopefully one with plenty of spawns, so we can try and get a shiny live on air. But let me know if you've had this shiny before on Pokemon Go. It has been released for quite a while now. It's not a particularly new shiny. Probably about 18 months, 2 years it's been out now. If you haven't already seen, make sure you go check out the YouTube channels, the YouTube videos up on my channel regarding the Go Fest weekend and what results I had over the weekend. Some really cool shiny spawns over the weekend, so that was really nice to get. Obviously some really rare ones as well, so make sure to go check that out after this. So it's not a particularly difficult throw on Binacle. It does like to move about a bit, but you can get off a few excellent throws with it. So let's go ahead and show you what a shiny Binacle looks like in Pokemon Go if you've not already had one. So as you can see, it goes like a dark green colour on the palm of its hands. Its arms go a bit of like a pinkish, dark pinkish colour, reddy pink, and then it has green fingers as well. So quite a nice shiny. And then when it evolves into Barbaracle, then it goes even nicer in my opinion. So it is a really cool shiny to get. Hopefully we can get one today. Let's have a quick look and see if any of these are sparkling. Oh, going up that hill really took it out of me. Let's see if any of these shine for us. So obviously we've just come off the back of a massive event on Pokemon Go, probably the biggest of the year, which was the Go Fest. Obviously weeks of leading up to it, little events that coincided with the in-person Go Fest events, and then obviously the big weekend, the Go Fest Global, which hopefully a lot of you managed to play. It is one of the biggest events in the year on Pokemon Go, if not the biggest, and it, in my opinion, it was actually a really good weekend. I thoroughly enjoyed what was released. I fully enjoyed the amount of regionals that you could get, and I fully enjoyed the shiny odds, and overall it was a really good day, well, really good weekend, in fact, in both terms of raids and spawns, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the Go Fest weekend and what you didn't like over the weekend. If you didn't like anything in particular, let me know what you disliked the most and what you liked the most. So we're going to start this route in a minute. Let's just catch all these barnacles here because they are a little bit crazy around here. So let's just go ahead and catch most of these. Apologies if the sound quality is not brilliant. It is a little bit windy where I am, so apologies for that if the wind's coming through on the speaker. But yeah, so obviously we've just come off a big event on Pokemon Go. We were sort of, well, depending on how hard you worked over the weekend, you're sort of due a break from the game, but obviously Pokemon Go doesn't allow you to do that too often, especially not for a long period. So tomorrow starts a brand new event. We have the brand new Pokemon, the little mouse Pokemon actually, Tandemaus, gets released tomorrow, and it will only be available on special research, so everybody will get a free special research. So at least once you've completed that special research, you can get one encounter with the Tandemaus, and then after that you get it on field research tasks, of which the task that it's going to be behind hasn't yet been announced, so unfortunately I can't tell you what tasks to look out for, but it will be on field research tasks, and also it will be on party play challenges. So obviously Tandemaus, that has 2 evolution forms. It has a form of 3, so a family of 3 and a family of 4. Now in the previous games, so the games on the Nintendo Switch, the family of 3 was always the hardest one to get, so I fully expect that to be the same sort of style in Pokemon Go. Potentially you might end up with a similar sort of mechanics that the Rockruff has. So for instance, Rockruff, obviously you can have one that evolves into the midday and midnight form, and then obviously you have a dust form, which it's quite a lot harder to get the dust form Rockruff than it is to get the other one. So I would assume it's going to be quite similar mechanics to that. That's probably why they brought out the dust form Rockruff when they did, was so that they could work and see if the mechanics worked before releasing the likes of Tandemaus and stuff like that into Pokemon Go. So Tandemaus is getting released. We'll wait and see how much more difficult it's going to be to get the evolution of a family of 3, because it's very similar as well to the likes of Dunsparce. Obviously Dunsparce has a brand new evolution, not yet released on Pokemon Go, but in one of the Nintendo Switch's games it has a brand new evolution, and that it goes into like a 3-segment Dunsparce instead of being a 2-segment Dunsparce. You can evolve it into a 3-segment Dunsparce, but the chances of actually getting a Dunsparce that could evolve into a 3-segment one is absolutely ridiculous odds on the Nintendo Switch. So the chance of getting one of those on Pokemon Go, again, will probably fall into the same mechanics as Tandemaus and the Rockruff dust form. So we'll wait and see what happens with that in Pokemon Go. But like I say, Tandemaus getting released tomorrow, special research available for everybody, so it guarantees you one. Then field research tasks, of which we don't know which task it's going to be hidden behind yet, but hopefully we'll find it out in the next couple of hours when people start getting the event in the earlier countries, so the likes of New Zealand and Australia, when they start picking up the tasks. and the event starts there in a couple of hours time, then we'll hopefully find out what research task it's going to be hidden behind. And then obviously, like I say, the party play challenges. So if you did Pokemon Go Fest Global this weekend and you was in a party for a lot of it, which I was, then once you've completed party play challenges, you had encounters with the Pikachus with a crown. So obviously that was a really good way of getting the Pikachus with the sun or the moon crown shiny. So when same sort of mechanics as that, it's going to be tandem house encounters. So you've got to be in a party, you've got to complete those party and challenges for an encounter, and then it will be tandem house as an encounter. So that's probably the best way to get tandem house in Pokemon Go over these next week or so when the event is on. So make sure if you're out and about, and if you can tag along with somebody or get somebody to come out with you, then you're in a party as well to get those extra encounters with tandem house. If you're not, and if you are going to be going out on your own, then make sure to keep an eye out for those field research tasks. Whichever you get stuck behind, make sure you try and keep an eye out for those on Pokestops as the event goes on. So it's not going to be released as shiny. It is a brand new Pokemon, but not released as shiny. So realistically, you probably only need to keep an eye out for a couple to try and get each evolution done, depending on how difficult this family of 3 is going to be to get, and then try and get a decent one for the decks. But realistically, you can hunt a lot harder when it comes out shiny, because obviously then you have the additional chance that it could be a shiny one that you're going after. So also during the event as well tomorrow, starting tomorrow at 10 AM your local time, we'll also see the likes of, well, the bonuses of 4 times catch XP, which is just incredible really. If you think about an excellent throw rewards you around about 1200 XP, 4 times that's going to be around about 4800 XP for a Pokemon caught on excellent throw, which is just insane. Especially if you've got a luck egg on, you're going to be looking around about 10,000 XP nearly for each excellent throw that you manage to do. So that's going to be really, really cool, especially if you're grinding that XP. Now, a lot of the events on Pokemon Go have come with this catch XP and these XP bonuses recently. So last time we started doing all these different events with loads of different XP bonuses, then we had the level increase from level 40 to level 50. So a lot of people are thinking it's because the level increase is coming from level 50 to level 60. So we'll keep an eye out on that. There has been rumours that will happen later on this year, but nothing confirmed as of yet. And how they're going to do it will be left to be seen really, because if you increase Pokemon level as well to level 60, you're really, really going to struggle, because the starter people coming into the game are going to find it really hard, especially because if you raise the Pokemon level to 60, then most legendary raids become soloable when you've got the candy to power up your Pokemon all the way to level 60. So it does become a bit of an easier game for the solo person and less of a team game. Now, if you combat that by making the raid bosses harder, then it also means that people starting out the game get a harder game to start off with, so then they'll lose interest and stop playing soon after. So it's a bit of a hard one to do. My guess is that they'll probably keep the trainer level, they'll probably keep increasing the trainer level, but realistically the Pokemon level itself will just stay at 50, because if you think back to the mainstream Nintendo games and Game Boy games and one thing and another, then each Pokemon can get powered up to level 100. So there was level 100 that you could get your Pokemon up to. Now Pokemon Go, in that respect, already does that. Although it's only level 50, you go up in half. So when you power up a Pokemon once, it goes up. Let's say your Pokemon's level 40 at the moment. You give it 10 Candy XL to power it up once, and it goes up to 40 and a half. So each power up, instead of being one level, is actually half a level. So getting a Pokemon up to level 50 in Pokemon Go is very similar to getting it to 100 in the mainstream games, because you didn't used to go up in half levels in the mainstream. It was obviously one level at a time. So it sort of makes sense to leave the Pokemon levels as they are, not mess about too much with the mechanics behind the game on that respect, and instead just increase the trainer level. So at least the people who are level 50 like myself, if you are getting a bit bored with the game because there's nothing else left to chase, then at least there's something extra for them to do. It would be really nice if there was a consistent plan in place, in my opinion, so that every sort of 3 or 4 years you knew that was going to be an additional 5 levels coming out or an additional 10 levels coming out. So you knew you didn't really have time to put down the game because you know, oh, a couple of years later there's going to be another level increase. So I think that's where Pokemon Go loses a lot of its players, is that they get up to level 50, they go up to a max level, they sort of lose what there is left to chase. Obviously the new shiny releases are the only thing that tends to be the thing left to chase really. But once you've fallen out of love with them and you don't have any XP really goals to chase, you either have to set your own, or you just have to sit back and wonder, are they going to increase the level or aren't they? So you do end up losing a little bit of interest. So my advice would be, if you do get increased to level 60, if you're currently level 50, I know it's always an urge to try and get to level 60 as quickly as you can, but I think I'm just going to take my time with it because I want the enjoyment of doing it and not the race of doing it really. So I'll probably take my time with leveling up, and hopefully the challenges are really, really hard to level up as well, a bit like they are from level 40 to 50. Hopefully they're even harder than that. So generally speaking, it does take you quite a lot of time to get up to level 60. But all that speculation, we'll wait and see what actually happens later on this year, if anything, in terms of a level increase in Pokemon Go. So a little bit of a discussion all about that. Let's get back to Spotlight Hour tonight. So obviously Binacle featured in Spotlight Hour. Wasn't really featured in Pokemon Go Fest this weekend. So before we go any further, let's just start this route. Yep. So yeah, it wasn't really featured in Pokemon Go Fest this weekend, but it is a really cool looking Pokemon. I didn't used to like it the first time when it got released. Me personally, I only really played on the Nintendo games up to about Gen 4. So all these new ones afterwards, I never really got my head around them, and I never really liked the designs of them. But the more and more that keep appearing into Pokemon Go, and the more and more I keep seeing them, I actually quite like quite a few of them. So Binacle is definitely one of those. I really quite like the design, especially of the evolution form as well. It's really, really cool, and it is one that doesn't seem to let me down when it goes shiny as well. So the shiny is definitely one that looks a lot better than the original. It's obviously sometimes, I think with some of the new shinies, they get really carried away with making it a really, really obscure different colour, or they get really carried away with not really changing it that much. This one just seems to be a nice in between. We've changed it, but we haven't gone drastically over the top. It isn't all gold or it isn't all pink. We've quite kept the different colour patterns and just instead changed colour, which is quite nice. It definitely looks a lot better as shiny than it does normal. So 20 minutes gone in the Spotlight Hour. Managing to hit quite a few excellent throws on these, but it is a full odds shiny as well, so it's 1 in 512, which is full odds. So we're probably not going to be guaranteed a shiny, but still, let's fingers crossed that we can get one live on stream. I don't think any of the Binacle shinies that I've got are any decent, so it would be quite good to have one with decent stats. We'll definitely check that out in a second. We'll check that out now actually, while we're a little cut on on spawns. So 4 so far, obviously not caught this hour but previously. So as you can see, I had 2022, so it's definitely over 2 years since its shiny got released. So 2-star, 2-star, a 0-star and a 2-star. So not anything over particularly exciting to shout about. It probably isn't one that I'd waste on a lucky trade because it isn't super useful for anything in terms of PvP or PvE. It just is generally a really nice Pokemon. So 23 minutes left. Sorry, 23 minutes gone. We've got 37 minutes left. Obviously, the last couple of days we've had the Global Go Fest and loads of different legendaries and Ultra Beasts on raids. But this time around, we've gone a bit back to basics since then. So Monday morning, yesterday morning, we obviously had the reintroduction of the Kanto Bird Articuno back on level 5 raids. So it's quite nice to see him back and not as a shadow. Obviously we saw months and months of him at the weekends as a shadow. I think Articuno, when it first got released, when we first started doing the legendaries on a monthly rotation, it ended up being in raids for about 3 months solid for the first time round. Then we started doing a monthly rotation. This is a shadow version of Articuno, should I say. So then we started doing a monthly rotation with the shadows, and we kept on seeing a lot of the shadow Articuno with them getting rotated around and then back again on a monthly cycle. And then obviously eventually switched to the legendary dogs, which is what we've got now on the raids. And obviously this month we've got Shadow Entei back on raids at a weekend. So I'll probably be trying to do a few Shadow Enteis this weekend. But amazingly, how many times we saw the Shadow Articuno in raids, I never actually managed to get one shiny. So it would be nice to get that back round, but with a generation now going on to Gen 2, it's probably going to be quite a while until we start seeing the Gen 1 legendaries shadows again on raids. But it will be really interesting to see all the different shadow legendary Pokemon, especially when we get into those later stages, what they're actually going to do. So is it going to be shadow of the Ultra Beast, for instance? Because a lot of the Ultra Beasts are already quite high up in their rankings. If you think about them, you've got Pheromosa, which is one of the best bug type in Pokemon Go so far. So Shadow Pheromosa would be super cool, but also quite glassy as well, because you've also got to take into account it will lose 20% of its defense as well as gaining 20% of its attack. So will it be too glassy to actually use? I'm not too sure, but its attack output will be absolutely incredible. And then you've got the likes of Shadow Kartana as well, which is arguably one of the best grass types, perhaps second to Mega Sceptile. So that'll be a really interesting one to get as well, and see how good that is. My not understanding, but my guess would be that they're going to be probably similar to the Shadow Rampardos that we obviously see at the top of the pecking order in the rock type, but it is also an already very glassy type Pokemon. It's very similar to Gengar as well in that respect. Also a very good ghost type, but it was glassy as a normal Gengar, so Shadow Gengar would be very glassy, but still doesn't stop me really trying to get a good Shadow Gengar. Unfortunately, Shadow Ghastlies aren't in the Rocket Stops at the moment, but I'm hoping that one of the leaders will have Shadow Ghastly this next time round and I can go after that shiny, because I will be hunting that like mad. So 27 minutes in, just about finishing this route. As you can see, we've got a Zygarde cell there. So I just want to check something actually. because the other day I managed to get to 250 Zygardes and Zygarde cells, and when I kept on getting to the end of a route and I got another Zygarde cell, it never went above 250. So 250 is a maximum you can hold at any one time. Although you'll see Zygarde cells at the end of your routes, when you click on them and it says it's being sucked into the cube, it won't actually add to that 250. So you do get limited to 250. You will never get any more than that. So that was a bit of a shame. So it forced me to actually evolve this Zygarde, which is really, really rubbish, but I didn't really want to change the form of. So it forced me to change the form into the snake form so that I could actually start earning more Zygarde cells. So if that happens again, when I get up to level another 250, so when I get another 50 Zygarde cells, then I will have to change it to the maximum form, the 100% complete form. Although I don't really want to, I think I'll probably get forced to doing that just in case. But before I do that, just in case, I won't bother until I do get maxed out again, because you never know, there might be another Zygarde encounter or the shiny one get released or something like that. I doubt that's going to happen in the near future, so it probably will be a case where I've got to get it up to the complete form to start earning those Zygarde cells again, and then probably by luck, as soon as I evolve it into a complete form, they'll announce that there's another Zygarde coming out, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. What I definitely don't want to do is be doing all these routes, earning Zygarde cells, but we don't actually count towards anything because I've already got 250 there, so I might as well change the form of my current Zygarde and actually start earning them again. So what I did find out the other day though is when you do change the form of your Zygarde, you can actually change it back as well. So once you've got it up to the maximum form, the 100% complete form, you can actually go back down the forms if you want to, but unfortunately you don't recoup any of the Zygarde cells that it took you, but it costs you to evolve it up to the maximum form. You don't actually get any of those back. So you spent 250 Zygarde cells just to change its form all the way up to 100% form, and then you don't get any back if you take it down again. So it is a little bit of a waste if you do that. But what I'd probably do is, if I got another Zygarde that was really, really good, then I'd probably make that the 100% complete form when I've got enough Zygarde cells again, and then probably reduce the previous rubbish one that I had back down to the snake form. So if I do get another Zygarde, at least I've got one of each form then, if I get 3. So that was probably my idea. If I do get forced into changing the form of this current one all the way, just so I can start earning cells again, then that's what we'll have to do. So definitely quite an easy one to hit on the excellent throws. It's a shame that the Binacle hasn't got a 2 times catch XP reward or anything like that. Like I say, the reward bonus for this Spotlight Hour is 2 times transfer candy. So transferring those legendaries and ultra beasts that you caught over the weekend, it's a really, really good time to do it, especially if you want extra candy for powering them up. Definitely a good time to do that. Well, generally speaking, just a good time to clear out anything in your storage, because extra candy for Beldum, Cranidos is always going to be worthwhile as well. So making sure to clear out your storage of all those useful Pokemon to get the additional candy as well. So normally on my Pokemon, I'll show you in a second, I normally have a little tag on my Pokemon storage where I transfer 2 times transfer. Don't think I've got many things in them. No, I've only got Kartanas really in them, and Blaciophalons, which I'm going to actually keep for trades. Somebody wants to Blaciophalon Hundo, so I'm going to keep those rubbish ones for trades, but at least we've got 8 Kartana candy from those 4 that we've just transferred. We will have a quick look and see if there's any more rubbish legendaries that we can get rid of, or rubbish ultra beasts. I'll probably keep a few of the necrozmas to try and trade to get a better one, but the likes of Cortana and stuff, I'll probably just transfer them to get the additional candy to power up the good ones that I've already got. So we'll have a quick look into that in a minute. Let's just catch the rest of these Binacle that are on this route. So let's have a quick look at 0 star, 1 star, 2 star and Ultra Beast. I don't know if it comes up. Yes, it does. So obviously some of these have got the special background, so we'll try not to get rid of any with the special background. So let's just go and exclamation mark special background. Has that got rid of them? No, it hasn't. So hopefully if I check on my Pokemon storage, we can go see more special background. Hopefully I've called all these ones that I've got special background SG. I'll change that name of that one to special background. And then as you can see, most of these are called special background. That Necrozma I'm not going to get rid of anyway because it's a 91. So let's go and look and see which shiny, or which rubbish, should I say, which rubbish Ultra Beast we've got to bin. So 0 star, 1 star, 2 star, Ultra Beast. And let's clear some more space out from our Pokemon storage. So Ultra Beasts. There we go. And then let's go by number. So we haven't actually got many that are rubbish that are available to get rid of. This stack attacker can go into the bin. Cortanas, we've got 2 of that were shiny. Exertree, extra small one there. And that one was labelled up Lucky Trade, but we could probably bin that now because we'll have some more better Exertrees to do a Lucky Trade with. And then obviously we have a solo Pheromosa, which I'm probably going to get rid of, although it was one we managed to solo. It is just taking up storage space, and we've quite easily soloed more, which I think I've got another one labelled up solo, which was a 3 star. So definitely get rid of that 2 star one now. So at least it's got rid of a couple. We'll just do the same for legendaries in a second as well, to see if there's any legendary space we can get rid of while the 2 times transfer candy is on. Let's just quickly catch a few more of these Binacle. So a couple more spawning down here. They're quite nice, excellent throw on these. Still not any sparkling at the moment. No shinies from the Spotlight Hour as of yet. I think this will probably be the 3rd Spotlight Hour in a row where I've not managed to get a shiny if we don't get one this time. Let's just transfer the rubbish ones that we've found so far. And then let's just go on 0 star, 1 star, 2 star and legendary and see what legendaries we have rubbish that we can get rid of. That's if I can type it in. There we go. So anything good here that we can get rid of, I'll go and mine a shiny. And then as you can see, we've got the shadow ones. Uxie, some of those can go, especially being that they're probably caught in the wild as well. So some of these Uxies can go into the transfer pile. And we have Azelf, again caught in the wild of the Sinnoh Tour earlier this year. We've got quite a few obviously of the Dialgas, but we'll keep them because they are going to be useful for lucky trades, especially when they've all got Roar of Time, because that was a path that I chose. Reshiram again with Fusion Flare will be one to keep. Obviously Yveltal with the London background, definitely keeping that. And then obviously we go into the Necrozmas, and then Regieleki, Regidrago, and also Enormous. So Regidrago probably could go into the bin, although I don't think I've got too many Regidragos. Obviously it was only about on Elite Raid, so I'll probably keep one of those because it was a solo, and then we'll keep the other one for a lucky trade. So a few more storage spaces earned. I definitely need to do some trades and get rid of some rare stuff that we managed to get over Pokemon Go Fest weekend. Do a like for like trades and hopefully get luckies. So the stuff I've actually saved for trades from Pokemon Go Fest Global this weekend is the likes of the costume Pokemon, not so much Pikachu, but definitely the Espeon and Umbreon. Trying to get a lucky one of those. Really nice to get a lucky one of those if I can. So I've kept all the ones of those that I've saved. Also Necrozmas, obviously, to try and get a decent Necrozma, because as we all know by now, the fusion form of Necrozma, so when you fuse it with Solgaleo or Lunala, then it takes all its stats and its shiny status from the Necrozma. So it doesn't matter if you've got a 2-star Solgaleo, once you've fused it with a decent Necrozma, so let's say you had a 98 Necrozma, let's say, it takes its 98 IV stats from Necrozma, so your fusion Pokemon will be 98 IV as well. So that is definitely worth making it, well, worth bearing in mind, that you don't have to go ahead and lucky trade those Cosmogs to try and get a decent one for your fusion. You can always keep them as they are. Now obviously if you did do the Global Go Fest at a weekend, you'd have had a special research on the Sunday where you got a encounter with Solgaleo or Lunala, depending on which path you chose. I chose the path of Solgaleo mainly because I know Solgaleo fusion is probably going to be a little bit more useful than Lunala. In terms of how good the fusion Pokemon are, Lunala fusion with Necrozma, so the Dawn Wings, becomes very similar to a Mega Gengar in terms of usefulness as a ghost type Pokemon. So Mega Gengar and the Dawn Wings fusion between Necrozma and Lunala are very similar damage output and very similar TDO to each other. So in some scenarios, as a ghost type attacker, Dawn Wings will be the best choice, but then in other scenarios, Mega Gengar will be your best choice, basically depending on what you're going up against. Obviously the typings being a little bit different between each of them. So definitely, you know, with Mega Gengar being close to Lunala, it made sense to do the Solgaleo, because Solgaleo fusion with Necrozma goes into an absolute amazing steel type, best steel type in the game, and rumours are is that it will still be the best steel type in the game after the release of Mega Lucario and also Mega Metagross. More importantly, it will still be better than Mega Metagross by quite a distance. So it'll be really interesting to see what the fusion form of Solgaleo does in terms of damage output when we have something useful enough to take it down in raids. So when we see the best sort of counter, when we have to start using those steel types, that's when we'll see how useful the Solgaleo fusion with Necrozma actually is in raids. So definitely worth keeping an eye out on that. So 43 minutes gone of the Spotlight Hour. Still no shiny as of yet. Dog is saying hello in the background. Can we get a shiny down this end? Definitely popping off these excellent throws quite nicely. Should have really had a look at the XP beforehand and afterwards to see how much XP we've earned. Even though the bonus isn't double XP for catching, it would have been nice to see how much we've earned during this hour. Binacle's quite literally lining up there on that side there. 4 Binacles in a row. Let's see if any of these, 3 Binacles in a row, sorry. Getting confused with how many hands are being put up in the air. A little bit like a Mexican wave in a way. That was all of them in a row with their hands up in the air. Doing some sort of Mexican wave or something. None of those are shiny though. Shiny Binacle, get in. We managed to get one live on stream. It's been the first time we've managed to get a shiny on Spotlight Hour live on YouTube for quite a while now, for quite a few weeks. So I think the last one we managed to get was probably Marini when that got released. I know we managed to get a Marini. I'm not too sure what others we managed to get after that, but it's definitely been quite a while, at least 3 weeks. So it's really nice to get a shiny on Spotlight Hour. There we have it, shiny Binacle. Really cool looking shiny. Really cool little animation as well. How good on the stats? 0 star. So probably to be expected from a wild shiny. They tend to be quite bad stats. That's how they tend to drop, but let's see if in the next 15 minutes we can double our luck and get an extra one. Let's see what around this area has to offer us. But really nice to get that first shiny of the Spotlight Hour. Although it's a shiny that we've got already, definitely nice to get one live on YouTube. There we go, excellent throw. Eventually we got there. So I have just been using Pokeballs to catch these, and to be honest, the catch rate hasn't been too bad. Although we've had quite a few with red catch circle or orange catch circle. The catch rate hasn't been too bad over the hour, which has surprised me really. I did think that we'd probably have to switch to the Great Balls or Ultra Balls for some of the higher CP ones. But luckily it's not been too bad. We've managed to just keep hitting these excellent throws, and that's probably what's made them stay in the ball more often than not. So 13 minutes to go. So if you haven't already, make sure to drop a like on this video. It'll be uploaded onto my channel afterwards as well, so if you're watching later, then thanks very much for watching, thanks very much for tuning in. Second shiny Binacle, get in, 2 in about 5 minutes, was that? That is just crazy. We didn't see any for the first 42, 43 minutes, and then we have 2 inside 5 minutes. This always tends to be my lucky spot on spotlight hours. Didn't expect to get a second though, so that's really, really cool in such a short time. You could probably be able to see the first one on the journal if we have a look in the journal. So let's go have a look and see if we can still see the first shiny in the journal. So when it loads, there we go. So you can see the second shiny there, 703. If we scroll down, there it is. So 1845 for the first shiny, quite about probably less than 15, less than 20 definitely. 3 minutes later, we caught another shiny Binacle. So 2 within 3 minutes. Really, really cool to get those done. And if I hadn't had it shiny before, that would be complete. So really, really cool to get 2 live on stream. Didn't think that was going to happen after the first half an hour of the Spotlight Hour event, but so glad it has. Always nice to see those sparkles on your screen, especially when it's such a cool shiny as is Binacle. We couldn't possibly get a third one, could we? Surely not. Only 10 minutes left. Probably going to be the last one we see, but won't stop us clicking on all these ones that are left and hoping we can get one with actual decent stats. That'll be really, really nice to get one that's got good stats. So both of those I think was in the wild. Don't think any of them were incense spawns, which is even better because quite often it tends to be your incense which saves you from these events. But it's really nice to actually get some just purely in the wild and not so much on incense. But yeah, as I was saying before, this video will be going live up on my YouTube afterwards. So if you are a late watcher, then thanks very much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button on the video. Definitely subscribe to the channel. 2 shinies within 3 minutes. That's definitely worth a subscribe if anyone's money. So definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notifications bell as well, so you don't miss out on any more video updates that I upload onto my channel. If you like all Pokemon Go related stuff, then you'll definitely like my channel. Make sure to go check out all the other videos that I've already got up there. We've been doing quite a few different challenges of all different sorts. So we have some solo raid videos, of which I want to try and solo a Mega Swampert if I can. But if I do that video, if I do go ahead with that challenge over the next day or 2, then I will definitely be putting that up on my YouTube video, on my YouTube channel. So make sure to keep an eye out for that video going up over the next day or 2 if we do it. So there's loads of Pokemon Go related stuff on my channel. There's something for everybody pretty much. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. 9 minutes left to go of the Spotlight Hour. 2 shinies in the bag, both of them around this area. Hopefully we can get a third one on the way back up. It is 1 in 512 shiny odds. Believe it or not, even though we've managed to get 2 within 3 minutes, it isn't boosted. It is 1 in 512. So super, super lucky to get 2 within 3 minutes. So in total, I've had 3 shinies today. I did get a shiny Grimer, which is quite a strange one to get earlier on, but obviously with us not being in an event, the spawns tend to be a little bit weird between events. We just tend to get these seasonal spawns, which aren't ever that good, and it sort of makes you want the next event to come around that the spawns get at least a little bit better. So yeah, shiny Kanto Grimer, should I say, as well. Not an Alolan one. So you can see here the 3 shinies that we've got today across the top. Binacle, 1-star, 0-star Binacle, and Grimer earlier on today, which was also a 0-star. So not a bad day in terms of shinies. Not an overly brilliant day in terms of stats. We're going to have a look and see if we've got any Hundo Binacles as well during this hour. It would be really nice if we've fallen across a Hundo on this little walk around. We're going to start a new route. Pub to Nature Reserve, we'll do that one. And then hopefully by the time we've got back up that way, we've managed to get around about 7 o'clock time. So the spotlight hour would be almost finished. Let's have a quick look and see if we've got any 4-stars. No, unfortunately not. Any decent 3-star Binacle. We've only had 6 Binacle that are 3-star, believe it or not. So these are the 6. None with overly brilliant stats. That one is probably the best one of the hour, 96, but without attack. I have got a couple of Hundo Binacles, I believe. Let's have a quick look and double check. And then we know that all those can go in the bin. Yes, we've got a family of Hundos, so we don't need to keep the likes of a 96. They'll go in the bin after the spotlight hour is finished. So my buddy's just turned to Candy XL. Currently working on a Hundo Emolga. Hatched it from one of the eggs when Emolga was released as shiny in the event that coincided with the I believe it was the Sandai event when Emolga came out. Was it one of the first Go Fest events? Yes, I believe it was, because Cabrola, I believe, was Madrid, Emolga was Sendai, and Ducklet was New York. So yeah, it would have been the first in-person Go Fest event weekend worldwide. If you didn't attend the event worldwide, you got the event that had shiny Emolga, but it was full odds. It was 1 in 512, really hard to get shiny. Luckily enough, managed to get quite a few shiny Emolgas the other day during Global Go Fest. If you haven't already seen my Global Go Fest video up on my channel, make sure to check this out after this video. But yeah, you'll be able to see on there we managed to get a couple of shiny Emolgas, but before that I'd already hatched a Hundo, and it was one that I hadn't worked on as a buddy yet. And I've got this weird sort of thing in my head where we could probably try and get every single Pokemon in the Pokedex Hundo. Not Hundo, but best buddy, should I say. So at least working on one of each, because when you go up to the amount of best buddies that I have, you do really start to struggle at what else you can buddy. Did manage to go best buddies with another Pokemon today, and that was the Hundo Cellurage. So Charcadet of all form. So Hundo off a lucky trade, managed to get Hundo, so super happy with that. It will get powered up to level 50 at some stage. It's not overly useful in terms of battling in PvE. I'm unsure what it's like in PvP, but unfortunately I don't really do much PvP. In fact, you'll probably see from my battle thing here, I've done 2 battles this season so far, and it ends in 49 days. So that sort of gives you an indication of how much PvP I do. None is probably the answer. So Pokemon that are good in PvP don't really tend to interest me. I tend to just go after the ones that are decent for raids and for gym battles. Them are the ones where I'm more happy to spend my Stardust, but obviously everyone's different, so a lot of people out there will love PvP and that's what they'll spend their Stardust on, and that's okay, that's fine. Everybody plays this game in a different way, and that's what makes the game so good, is that It's a game that brings everybody together. It's a game that gets you outside, but it's also a game which everybody can have their own way of playing. You can obviously be an XP hoarder, or you can be a person who just shiny checks. You can obviously be somebody who loves PvP, you can be somebody who loves PvE, so you can play it in your own way, and that's what's so unique about Pokemon, and especially Pokemon GO, is although it brings everybody together, everybody can still play it in their own little way, so that's what I love about this game. Got 2 minutes left of Spotlight Hour. We have had 2 shinies so far. Storage is full, that's not really what we want to see. Going into the last 2 minutes of the Spotlight Hour, let's transfer some of these rubbish ones that we've caught today with that little quick tag that we've made. So let's just try and catch quite a few of these left over. And then we'll have a quick summary at the end to see how we've managed to get on during this hour. We're into the last minute now of the Spotlight Hour. Can we get another shiny during this hour? 2 is pretty incredible. 3 would just be utterly outstanding, really. So let's see if we can get a 3rd one. I won't just shiny check them, I will try and catch them just because they are really nice to do excellent throws on. So although we might be missing out on a shiny, we are already covered in shinies, so I'll probably prefer the XP at this stage. Plus, you never know. As if we got a shiny Binacle. Probably the last click we were going to do. Yes, in fact, it's just turned 7 o'clock. We have 3 shiny Binacles in the hour. I don't think I've ever had 3 shiny Binacles in a Spotlight Hour, especially one that isn't boosted odds. That is just insane. 3 shiny Binacles. I will have to check after this video to make sure they haven't boosted the odds, because I don't tend to get luck like that very often. But 3 in the hour, that is really crazy. Hopefully this one stays in the ball. We have changed to a great ball just so it makes sure it can. But that is insane. 3 shiny Binacles in the hour. The last click of the Spotlight Hour, we end up getting a 3rd shiny Binacle. Any decent other stats? 1 star, so arguably a little bit better than the other 2 we had previously. But that's just insane. 3 shinies in the hour. Let's have a quick look and overview of what we had during that Spotlight Hour. Wow, okay, so we had the shiny Gram obviously before, earlier in the day, but during Spotlight Hour we had our first shiny Binacle at 6:43, I think it was, no, 6:45 I believe it was. When we look back on the video you'll probably be able to see 6:45 it was on the journal. Then at 6:48 we had a 2nd shiny, so only 3 minutes between the first one and the second one. And then the last click of the Spotlight Hour spawned another shiny Binacle. So within 15 minutes, within 45 minutes of Spotlight Hour, the first 45 minutes we had nothing. Within the last 15 we had 3. So crazy luck in that last quarter of Spotlight Hour. So did we manage to get any hundos in those last few checks? No, we didn't, unfortunately. Any decent 3 stars other than that 96 one we had before? Last time we checked we only had 6. We have now got 7, so how good was this one? Not very good at all. So that about wraps up Spotlight Hour. Bit crazy. 3 shinies within the last 15 minutes. Let me know in the comments how you managed to get on with Binacle Spotlight Hour. Super cool looking shiny. Hopefully you managed to get your hands on one of these as well, if not a couple for the family. Thanks very much for watching. As always, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks very much, and I'll catch you very soon on the next video. Bye for now.